What's up, CSU Rams fans, and welcome to Moby Arena, where your CSU Rams men's basketball team just improved to 2-0 on this early 2017-18 season by knocking off Winthrop 80-76 on this Tuesday night. For the second straight game, Prentice Nixon led all scorers with 16 points, while Nico Carvacho finished with 11 points and 20 rebounds. He was huge in this game as the Rams won by 4 points against a Winthrop Eagles team who's going to be very good this year. They could win 20 or even 25 games this year, but let's get into this game. The game all started slowly for the Rams and for Winthrop as they were trying to feel each other out, and each one of them went back and forth with scoring. They kind of traded baskets back and forth for the beginning of the game. Larry said after the game, quote, "I sense it at practice today. We're young. And at that half-speed practice, we made a lot of mistakes." Larry said then he had to call in all of his leaders, J.D. Page, Prentice Nixon, Nico Carvacho, and so on and so forth. And as they sat on his office up on the couch in his office, he told them that he had to voice his concerns about them not listening to him and not listening to the need for giving all-out effort on both ends of the floor, like Larry always says, because a game like this could happen. A team like Winthrop could take advantage of the Rams if they don't give that effort, and that's exactly what happened, because 5 minutes left in the half, Winthrop ended up taking the lead as Xavier Cooks was working the ball inside, and a host of other players, including Anders Broman, were knocking down threes from outside. Winthrop, they took a 7-point lead at 39-32 into the break at halftime, and CSU, they really struggled on the offensive side of the ball in the first half. Nixon, he shot too many balls. He only had 1 assist. Again, he told me he wanted to average 6 assists a game this year. He only had 1 in the first half. He was playing too much one-on-one ball. Too many jumpers that were settled for the Rams on the whole, the entire team. They were just settling for way too many jumpers outside. Then the second half started even worse for CSU, and Winthrop actually pushed their lead to as much as 14 at one point with 15 minutes to go in regulation. It looked all but over there. This is a young team, as Larry said. They could have quit on him. They could have quit on their fans. They didn't do that. They fought. They fought stalwartly. They scratched. They clawed their way back into that game, and Prentice Nixon, he was the catalyst. Make no doubt about it. I asked Larry about it after the game. He said he was as well. You know, he forced a couple of turnovers by getting charges, as Prentice Nixon does almost every single game. Then he started facilitating his teammates. I think the key transitional play that happened was first Deion James dropped a dime down to Nixon on the baseline, who jumped and made it in. Then they got a turnover on the other side of the floor. Then Nixon and James ran a give and go, and James scored. The Rams were rolling at that point. And Nixon, he ended up finishing with 6 assists, just like he told me he wanted to do every single game. He ended up having 5 of those in the second half. One of them came to Raekwon the Chef Mitchell, who was cooking. He had 7 points in the last 6:18 of the game himself. Nixon passed it around a defender under the hoop, and Raekwon Mitchell just slammed it home. The crowd went crazy. They said there were about 3,000 people here. There weren't. There were about 1,500, but they went wild at that point. And after the game, Prentice Nixon said, quote, "Once we slow down and play our game, things seem to open up, and the rim is as big as the ocean." That's what he said about facilitating his teammates and finding some chemistry on the floor. And Larry said of Prentice, he's a really terrific teammate. You saw a lot of camaraderie out there and team effort, Larry said. And the Rams, they ended up holding on to win 80-76. Again, Nixon had 16 to lead the Rams, who had 5 players in double digits. Triple digits would be wild. And Nico with an quote-unquote unbelievable 20 rebounds, as Larry said himself after the game. CSU out-rebounded Winthrop 51-29 on the night, and they dominated down in the paint 36-18. They doubled up Winthrop down in the paint. Next up for Colorado State, they actually have to come back to the arena this morning at 2 in the morning, tomorrow morning, to fly to Jamaica. CSU, who's now 2-0, takes on Tulane at noon on Friday in Jamaica. Tulane is currently 2-0 as well. The Rams, they start off their season at 2-0, and the quote of the night goes to Larry Eustachy, as it does basically every single night. And he said, quote, "We just have a lot of youth. Frustrating at times. That's why they call me the coach, though. I'm supposed to coach them through it," end quote. He'll try to do just that all year long. Well, that's it for me, Rich Kurtzman, for For MileHighSports.com and Crazy Carl's Pizza, who sponsors the videos and the podcasts, check out my written content at MileHighSports.com and the CSU Ramscast every Tuesday and Friday. A new episode dropped this morning on MileHighSports.com, on iTunes, and on Audio Boom. CSU Ramscast. I'm out. CSU Rams fans, have a great week.